Hello and welcome to Stamping by Hannah. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Today I thought we would do some watercolour lifting. I am not going to take credit for this technique. I saw this technique on Jennifer Maguire's awesome YouTube channel. The link to that one is in the down bar below, and I had to have a go. So I have a piece of watercolour paper here and some old olive ink. I've spritzed that watercolour paper and got it really wet. And I'm just going to add all this lovely old olive ink onto this this piece. Initially I was planning on doing a sort of two-tone effect with this piece of watercolour paper, but in the end I went old olive nuts, and it's all green. Oh sorry, I've got an itch. Ooh, itchy ear. Why is it whenever you put headphones on suddenly you get really, your head goes funny. I think I've gone a bit delirious now. I've actually done the voiceover for this video once and then discovered I hadn't recorded anything, so it's just been one of those days, I think. So, getting that watercolour paper all really wet, very inky, very green, and I'm going to take it away and dry it with my heat tool. Usually my heat tool lives on my desk, and I've had a nightmare with some plugs today. My makeshift plug socket fell off the wall as I was filming this video, so yeah, my heat tool had to move. So I'm adding some more green, more old olive onto this panel. I love this colour. It's such a fabulous colour. It's wonderful. Getting loads of that old olive on there, and I'm going to take this off. Make sure it's really dry with my heat gun before we do the next bit, so you can see, look how gorgeous that is. Beautiful, it's so beautiful. So I've now got my panel really dry, and I've got the Crazy About You stamp set. I absolutely love this stamp set, and there's a set of kind of bunch of leaves, is that the right, that's probably not the right expression, is it, but never mind, stamp in there, and I've inked it up with some Versamark. It doesn't matter whether you put the stamp to the ink or the ink to the stamp, in my opinion, as long as you get the ink on the stamp, who cares? So I've got the Versamark onto that watercolour paper, and I'm going to heat emboss this in clear. So I've got my clear embossing powder. I've talked about these boxes before. I store my embossing powders in little clear tubs. Because I use them so often, it's just a much easier way than trying to funnel it back into the little tiny weeny little pot that it comes in every time I use it. So, and I have used it more since my embossing powders more since I've put them into these tubs. I just get mine off Amazon along with the little ice cream spoons. Amazon's such a dangerous place, so dangerous. So I'm going to take that away and heat emboss that with my heat gun. And you'll be able to see that it goes really shiny. You can see that I've got that nicely heat embossed. And the trick to this technique is now, at this point, getting your watercolour paper really wet. So I've got my stamping spritzer somewhere, there it is. My stamping spritzer, I'm going to re-wet that watercolour paper. You can see how wet it is. You can see that my grid paper is not happy with the amount of water I've just put on it. And some paper towel. And we're just going to put the paper towel over it, give it a good rub and a nice hard press to get that ink back up. And you can see where the heat embossed areas are. They've stayed dark because it's caught the ink underneath. And we've reactivated the ink that's not been heat embossed, and we can wick some of that ink away. So I'm going to get it wet again and repeat the process just to make sure that that's all nicely. Oh, it's so beautiful. The card is stunning. And so I'm going to put that to one side just to dry a little bit, just while we do a bit more heat embossing. I've got a piece of basic black cardstock. I'm going to emboss the sentiment that also comes from Crazy About You, that says "You Rock," because I thought I'm going to make my YouTube subscribers a card, and this is the sentiment I came up with, because you do rock. You are all awesome. Thank you ever so much for watching my ramblings on card making. So I've got you and rock down there at the bottom, and I'm going to heat emboss these in white embossing powder. Exactly the same process as before. So I've got my box of white embossing powder now, and the same spoon, because it really doesn't matter. And at this point I have to confess that I managed to forget to turn the camera back on when making the final bit of this card. So I'll just get that little, something stuck in the wrong place. I'll just get rid of it with my thumb. So once I went away, I turned the camera off to heat emboss the U-Rock and didn't ever put it back. So that's the final card. I've used a piece of designer series paper there down the side, just to really accentuate that gorgeous watercolour lifting. Thank you ever so much for watching. As always, the links to the products and to the blog post that coordinates with this card are in the down bar below. I will also link it over to Jennifer Maguire's YouTube channel, because she is awesome, and I will see you again really soon. Thank you ever so much for watching. I do apologise for my filming boo-boo, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.